There's a lot of chaos gripping the federal workforce right now as Elon Musk and his team at DOGE tear through the general ledger in the name of cutting government waste, fraud, and abuse. The effort has, so far, focused mainly on the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, which is only one small part of the massive federal leviathan. Still, in just a few weeks, DOGE's efforts have uncovered a ton of absurd ways USAID has been using our tax dollars. There's the colorful stuff, like funds designated to boost transgender representation in Colombian operas, produce LGBT comic books in Peru, and push atheism in Nepal. But there's also the more substantial funding of media organizations all over the world, including the BBC and 90% of news outlets in Ukraine, as well as the funding of countless groups working to undermine and even overthrow governments Washington doesn't like. As I wrote about earlier this week, that's been the real purpose of USAID. The few programs helping poor and vulnerable people are mostly there to make the agency appear like a public charity, while also making it easy to demonize anyone who wants to cut their funding. And as DOGE moves on from USAID, we're bound to see more absurd, frustrating, and outright corrupt government programs dragged into the daylight. Which is great. But the most important thing to understand throughout all of this is that the massive amount of shocking and infuriating spending programs that the federal government has been operating outside of public view are only possible because of our monetary system. The government is not constrained by how much they take in through taxes or borrowing. Thanks to the Federal Reserve and the full government takeover of money, officials can fund new programs with brand new, freshly printed dollars. The costs this kind of spending puts on the public are just as real as taxes, but they're delayed. That delay allows government officials to fund wildly unpopular ideological programs and enrich their politically connected friends and donors without the public really noticing. So if DOGE is serious about not just slashing this craziness, but putting a permanent end to it, they need to set their sights on the government's primary tool for carrying all of this out, the Federal Reserve.